Okay, class, we are on lesson 62. This lesson is on fractional part word problems. The type of word problem that we're going to do, these are definitely reviews, but now they're put into story problems. These, I like to call them 2 out of 3. They've been called, through the book so far, missing number problems, or decimal part of a number problems, or fractional part of a number. This is actually going to be working with fractions, but put into a story problem. I know that's everybody's favorite type of problem. Your practice has only one problem, so let's try to get this right and get that problem correct. I use the example from the book here in my video here because if you need a review and you go to your book, then it's going to be just a review. You know, you've already seen it once. So I like to call these 2 out of 3 problems. Usually what they've given you so far is they'll say something like 7/10 of what number is 50? And then you have to figure out how to set that up into a math problem, and I told you that's the hardest part. As we've translated those other problems, if you recall, look over here at the yellow text I have written. When you see the word of, that would translate to multiplication or times. When you see the word is, that would translate to equals. It's still the same case in a story problem, but you have to look a little harder. You have to be a little bit of a detective. In these 2 out of 3 problems, they will always give you two of the 3 numbers in the problem, and you need to find the third. But they vary. If the problems are in the form f times a equals b, so a fraction times some number is another number, they might give you a and b and want you to find f. They might give you f and a and want you to find b. And so the hard part is setting up that problem properly and knowing which number you're looking for. So let's read this story problem together, and I'll show you how to set it up. 5/8 of the gnomes who lived in the magic forest had happy faces. Here's my gnome over here. If 840 gnomes had happy faces, how many gnomes lived in the forest? So first let's seek out the two pieces of data that they give you. Right off the bat, you can see they start with the number 5/8. Okay? And so we know that 5/8 of, there's the word of, that's going to be important. The gnomes who lived in the magic forest had happy faces. If 840, that's our other data there. If 840 had happy faces, how many gnomes lived in the forest? So let's write our 5/8. Let's see if we can translate this. We already see the word of there, and we know that means multiplication. 5/8 times, is it going to be 5/8 times 840 equals a missing number? Let's think about this. Kind of talk your problem out. Sometimes talk it out vocally. Think it through. I have some total number of gnomes. Some of them have happy faces and some of them don't. Which part do I know? Do I know how many total gnomes there are, or do I only know how many have happy faces? Do I only know part of the total? Turns out, if you read this carefully, if 840 gnomes had happy faces, okay, how many gnomes total live in the forest? So 5/8 of some total number is going to give me my answer. So if you read this carefully, 5/8 of the gnomes who lived in the magic forest. 5/8 of the total number of gnomes, that's what we're missing. So we'll call that our what number, or our missing number. 5/8 times our missing number is 840. Okay, so once I set it up, it's pretty elementary from here. These are problems we've done many times. I prefer to write this, to drop that multiplication symbol and just write them right next to each other, because that's what you're going to see more commonly in algebra problems. So let's multiply this by its reciprocal here to get rid of 5/8. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Now this is just a standard, algebra problem. We've done many of these. I have w all by itself. On the right-hand side, let's write this as a fraction and multiply my two fractions together. 840 you can rewrite that as 168 times 5 for the purpose of canceling these 5s. That gives you a much easier number to work with. 168 times 8 168 times 8 is 1,344 over 1, which is all that's left as my denominator. And so that's just simply 1,344. So then think about your answer. Does 5/8 of 1,344 seem like it should be 840? Does your number seem like it's accurate? You know, if my answer came out to be 500, clearly that's not going to be correct. 5/8 of 500 is going to be a number smaller than 500. So do a little bit of just logical thinking, see if your answer is correct. If it isn't, you might have put 5/8 and 840 in the wrong place.
Oh, we're out of hot water.
Sorry, noise in the background. Okay, so did I make that clear? I hope I did. It's a 2 out of 3 problem. You can still use the method of looking for that of word and converting that to multiplication. Make sure you find your 2 pieces of data. Okay, dig for those 2 numbers, and then you just have to find out what is my order. Where am I plugging those in? Are they F or A or B? Okay, and once you find the of, and you think about what is the bigger number and what is the smaller number, you shouldn't have too much problem. Okay. And please review this particular problem in the book if you get a little confused. It'll be a review for you. Okay, signing off.